What is going on, guys? We are back with a brand new series here on the channel, and we are not alone. We are joined by the one, the only, the pro anime reactor, Anisocks. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, my friend. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that we are taking this challenge on. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. It's always a pleasure, to partake in a project with the most handsome Canadian known to man.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so breaking the fourth wall, we tried to record this like a year ago. And for
It's
whatever
really been that long, which is crazy. It's just malpractice by
So,
me.
in typical fashion, the last cooperative project that I did on this channel was also delayed a year. So, I think it's just a me thing, to be honest with you at this point. But we are here with our own version of the Pokemon Draftlocke. So this is going to be basically a cooperative Nuzlocke throughout the game. However, we are drafting the only Pokemon that we will be allowed to use during this Nuzlocke, as well as other kind of rules that we will kind of be talking about probably in the next episode of it, when we actually get into the gameplay of it. But basically, the rule of thumb is that we are going to be playing the base game of Pokemon Platinum. We're both going to be playing the same game. Again, it's a cooperative Nuzlocke all the way through, so there's no real like try to like sabotage each other, be like, where are you at, like mess with each other, none of that stuff. We're working as a team here, but there will be a match at the end. So basically, it will be winner of if you beat the Nuzlocke or not, that's 1 point, and then another point if you can beat each other in a competitive battle at the end with the 11 Pokemon drafted. So it will be a 6v6, and then we'll be kind of just trying to tight match on each other and try to make sure that we get the most out of our teams. But I am going to put in the description as well the entire tiered list. So basically the way that it works is tier 1 is worth 180 points. Tier 2 is worth 120 points. Tier 3 is worth 100 points. Tier 4 is worth 60. And tier 5 is worth 40. You have 4 free slots to be able to draft from those Pokemon. Outside of your standard, you get whatever is on the screen already. So you have 400 free points. That's how that's tiered at the bottom. But it doesn't matter what order you draft in. You can order whatever you like, whenever you like it. If you want to draft tier 5 and work your way up to tier 1, you can do that. If you want to draft tier 1 and a free pick, you can do that. So it doesn't really matter how you pick, which is going to add a little bit more dynamic to the stream itself. To the drafting itself. And then it's gonna be snake draft. So Socks has the first pick. He did win the randomizer for the first pick. So he will be on the clock. And whenever you're ready, you can take your first pick.
All right. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see what you come up with. I'm very excited for like the actual battle itself.
Oh, 100%.
Because, well, obviously it's going to be fun, like, as we both go through this as a Nuzlocke, right? Particularly a hardcore Nuzlocke that provides for some hilarious moments. But yeah, the battle itself is going to be where it's at. You're an experienced competitive battler. Not so much, but I'm still going to try to bring some fun stuff.
Honestly, you are probably better than me. You are probably better than me.
No, see, you're just now you're just gassing me up to tear me down. I'm not gonna waste any time though. With the first pick, I'm taking Garchomp. I'm taking the Garchomp.
We knew this.
Like,
we knew this.
We knew this. It's literally like the best thing that I could take in the stuff that we have tiered. It's a powerhouse, and I really have never gotten the opportunity to even use one like in a playthrough. So I'm just kind of excited for that. Super versatile, can run at Stealth Rock, can at least in competitively, and then just do all types of crazy stuff in this game.
Yeah, no, that's a really solid pick. That is honestly, it is the pick of the draft. I mean, let's be real, like. Honestly, Garchomp's in a tier of its own. Like, honestly, I know that some people actually ban Garchomp from some drafting like leagues and stuff like that, like because it's so good. But I'm going to basically counter that pick with Gyarados.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Gyarados is the best counter for a Garchomp. It's not perfect, obviously, but it is probably the best counter that there is. And so that's what I'm gonna go with. It's a staple. It's another Pokemon that honestly gets banned from some people's playthroughs. Like, it is just really powerful as well. And so that is my number 2. my number one pick. And sorry, I just have to type while I'm going because there's no pen and paper today. We are trying to become
all digital.
We're trying to become more digital out here, yeah. Okay, so with the third pick for me, we already have our S tier pick, I guess is what you want to call it. But I think right away, matching that, I am going to draft the grass starter.
Ooh!
Torterra. I think that is my pick. Last time when we thought about the rules for this, we were deciding that you were only going to be allowed to draft one and you had to draft one. But this time around, there is no real restriction. You can draft 2 starters if you wanted, or even all 3. So that is what I'm going to be starting out with here. So what do you have on your now wheel pick?
Yeah, and I'm glad we made this change. I think it makes things a lot more interesting team building wise.
Yeah.
I was curious as to see who's going to take a starter first because I was going to wait a little bit. It's
you
okay.
Can still wait.
You know, I see that you're all about those 4 times super effective attacks.
100%. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this nice Garchomp, and I am going to go ahead and do I want to go tier 2 as well? Do I want to go tier 2? I think I will go tier 2, and I'm going to pair this nice Garchomp with a Vaporeon.
Ooh, so nice. Also, by the way, if you pick Vaporeon, you have picked the only evolution that can be drafted. So that is a really strong pick. Takes a lot of good things off the board. So Vaporeon is your pick.
Going through, so we both have a tier 1 and a tier 2.
Yep.
I think I want to keep getting stuff that's just like bulky and can take hits because obviously I'm terrified of dealing with Cynthia. I'm terrified of dealing with Cyrus. I could use a free pick here. I could use a free pick. Maybe that is smarter. I am going to go ahead though, and I'm going to jump down into... Do I want to take one of my lower tiers? We got what? 1 tier 4, 1 tier 5. Oh God. God. I'm gonna go ahead. See, this is where it gets a little tricky. I'm gonna go with, you know what? Give me a Luxray. Give me Luxray.
A Luxray.
I'm gonna take
tier
Luxray.
3 Luxray.
In the tier 3. Give me Luxray.
Okay. I respect it. That's a really good mon. Honestly, Intimidate's really good. Guts is really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
2 really good abilities.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love electric type Pokemon. I always try to have one on my team. And like you said, having the flexibility between Intimidate or Guts, I think is going to be really helpful. And obviously you do have a Gyarados there. So, you know, in terms of the battle itself, might be a little helpful.
All right, so I still need a lot of things as well. Obviously, I have 2 times 4 weaknesses, and you know, maybe you never know. Maybe I'll just be build a whole times 4 weakness team. But we'll see. Okay, so I'm thinking. See, last
I'm telling
time
you, it's tough.
It is tough. It is so tough. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna keep with the times 4 weaknesses, I think. And...
I love it.
Ooh, are we? See, now I'm terrified of it. Okay. There's so many things I need to pick. Okay. So with my pick 3, I want to get a really good electric type as well. I think that's valuable. I think that's important. I think every team needs a good electric type.
For sure.
So I am actually going to dip my toe. Am I? No, I'm not.
Do it! Dip those toes! What you got for me? What you got for me, Professor Leaf?
No, you know what? I am going to change my mind up on it. I'm going to change my mind up on it. We're going to go tier 5 right now.
Oh,
I'm going to pick low.
You taking that Absol that you love so much?
Oh, 100%. 100% I'm taking that Absol that I love so much.
Absolutely.
The reason, yeah, like the pun there. You know what? The whole reason that I like this is because I think it's the best Pokemon available in tier 5.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that.
What's available in tier 5 is a little bit suspect. So I think Absol is just a pick that, you know what, it keeps me more in the middle. Even if I lose out on a little bit of power at the top, I have a little bit better team at the bottom. Helps me with my Nuzlocke a little bit more. You know, we got some threats. We got a Psychic type Elite Four member, right? So, I mean, that is someone to think about.
Definitely.
And then I think I'm gonna go right for tier 4 right afterwards. And
okay, filling out that starting lineup.
I am, and I think we're gonna go with. Rapidash.
Ooh, okay, I like it. Giving yourself a little speed, and look, the fire types in this game, like
there's few and far between.
There's few and far between.
There is actually only 2 more that can even be drafted. Period.
Right, Infernape, and one of them's a starter. So
yeah, Infernape is one of them, and the Magmar line is the only other ones left. I just like having a physical fire type. They can't get burned, right? So
yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. For you for sure. The question is now, how do I respond to that? I like what I'm doing so far. I kind of think I want to do what you're gonna do and just kind of take some of fill out kind of the starting lineup and then worry about the free later. Although I could just force the issue and then take another tier 1, tier S Pokemon or whatever, and then just kind of worry about it later.
Yeah,
do I want to build a sand team? Do I want to get the sand going?
Get the hippo?
I'm thinking about it. I love me a hippo. Love our beefy thick Pokemon over here. But I think I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna drop down to these lower tiers as well, I think. And I am going to go ahead and take give me Dusclops.
Dusclops, tier 4 Dusclops. Okay.
So I'm gonna take a tier 4 Dusclops.
That's not bad though. That's a really nice Pokemon. Does the most.
Is it gonna get bodied by Cyrus? Absolutely. But you know what? That's okay. At least I got some bulky pivots. I got some bulky pivots.
You do. You really do. I do not have that outside of my top tier picks, so.
And that's always kind of the question of like when you're going through something like this, like how how much bulk are you gonna have? How many Pokemon that are more offensive are you gonna have? I think it makes things really interesting for sure. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm just gonna get rid of my 5 pick out of the way as well.
Okay. Yep.
And as much as I want to pick that unknown, as much as it's calling me,
I think you should.
Yeah, I mean, I want it to happen. Either that or the Chatot. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I think I can't help myself. I'm gonna take the Seeking, baby. We're getting the Swift Swim. The Rain team is coming. The Rain team, just you wait. It's gonna happen.
It's kind of wild. If you wouldn't have picked Luxray, I thought you were gonna go for Patrice. I thought that's who you were going for. I thought you were gonna go for the Ellis staple. But
Patrice would have been funny.
Yeah, it would have been. So okay. So I think, we have a lot to think about here. We need 3 tier 3s. Nobody's dipped their toe in tier 3 outside of. Oh well, you have dipped your toe in tier 3.
I did. I took 1 tier 3, but I also don't have a starter Pokemon. So
that is true, but you don't technically need one if you don't want. So
that's also true. That's also true.
I think that I am going to dip my toe into my free picks.
Ooh, I like it. I want to see what you're cooking with.
And as my free pick, I am going to take Raichu.
Ooh, okay. There's the electric type. I like it.
The reason that I like Raichu here is that really outside of Magnezone, there isn't another electric type really available anymore either. So that's
right. At least in terms of like relative value, because Electivire is there, but again, you're gonna have to spend those free points.
Yeah.
And allocating that could be a little tricky. So if you can get some value there in Raichu, I think it makes some sense.
So I think with that gives me math that I can't think about. Anyways, that should give us what? That should bring us down to 320. Yeah,
yes,
320 free points
from
left.
Your 400 free down to 320.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna dip my toe right back in.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna. What are we gonna go for here? I think the free picks are still the way to go for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't love what's in tier 3, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, it's like tier 3 is weird because it's like I feel like based on your team composition, there are a couple things that could really be helpful. But aside from like a couple more specific things, like it's just like tier 2. I mean, tier 2 is just loaded.
Tier 2's loaded, and that's kind of the big thing about it, right? So I actually think I am going to take tier 3 because I do need to have at least something. And I'm going to take Toxicroak.
Oh, yeah, great Pokemon. I know you like Toxicroak.
I just think it's a decent, like, I like a grounded poison type. I already have Torterra, so I didn't really think that Roserade made a ton of sense. And in terms of higher up things, I mean, I could have chose Haunter, but Haunter, it has Levitate in this generation still, so it doesn't actually, it doesn't actually protect myself against toxic spikes or anything like that if it does come up. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty solid pick. But yeah, I think it is up to you for the next two.
I think it makes a lot of sense. And the one thing that I think I really could use right now is or maybe not. So I might just get my tier 3s out of the way and then just kind of take whatever you don't take and just kind of have free reign for like the stuff that's free.
Yeah, that definitely works well.
Yeah, you're right, man. This tier 3 is tough. It is tough. It is tough. I'm not really gonna lie.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It is tough. Because now that since only one person can take an evolution, it really it hampers the strength that this tier 3 could have.
Yeah, like I think I would have chose Espeon if I had free reign at tier 3. So
for sure,
yeah,
for sure. You know what? I am gonna go ahead and let's just keep on doubling down with the bulk. I'm gonna take Gastrodon.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna go Gastrodon. I'm loaded up on the water types. I got a lot of ground types as well, so I'm gonna be the fastest death to Gardenia you've ever seen in your life. But
no.
I think if we can make it out, I think late game I might be able to be okay between like doing some recovering and some stalling. At least I got 2 potential Stealth Rock users now, and just some solid defense. And I'm going back to back here, correct? So I am going to just stay in this 3rd slot, and part of me wants to pick Mantine for no reason, just to have like a special wall and to get off the ground, but I'm not going to do that because I have so many. I already have 3 water types. I love Frostlass. Part of me wants to go Frostlass. I have a Ghost already though.
The Jervy special. All right.
Yeah, Metacham could be cool, but like I feel like grass types aren't, or not grass types. Roserade could be an option. I feel like grass types aren't ideal because then ice is obviously I'm not super fond of. Decisions. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, this tier 3 is brutal. Can't go water type. Part of me wants to go Ambipom just for the memes.
I mean, there is some real threats with Ambipom.
Look, you can do some. So there's real threats in terms of competitive battling, but in terms of like just pure Nuzlocking, not so much, my friend. Not so much at all. So I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Roserade. I'm gonna take Roserade.
That's a really solid. That's honestly one of the best picks in there. So yeah,
I think so. I want like you said, having a grounded poison type is really nice.
Yeah.
That speed tier that Roserade has is fantastic. And at least this gives me something that can at least hit a little bit harder than some of the other things on my team, albeit this thing is so frail, but at least this way I got my starting lineup out of the way, and now I can just go crazy with these free picks. But I'll pass it back to you and see what you're rocking with.
All right, well, I am going to also take another free pick here right away. May as well. There's no reason not to. And I think I'm just gonna take. Ooh. It's a tough choice, but I actually think that I want to take Haunter.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I still want a ghost type. I don't have one. And the trade-off between Gengar and Haunter isn't crazy, right? So I think there is an option there for that. And this is another pick? This was pick number 14. So we are getting there, but I think Haunter's pretty good. And then that should put me in to the 280.
Oh, okay. So you could take another S tier if you wanted to, correct?
I am actually able to still take a tier 1 and a tier 3, or I can take 2 tier 2s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have left myself open. But I actually do think that there was some merit to taking a really high pick right now as well.
Let's see it.
We are gonna go with a tier 2.
Ooh.
And we are gonna take.
Don't you dare snipe me. Don't do it. Don't do it.
See. Don't snipe you. All right, I will do my best not to. But we're gonna take a tier 2 Empoleon.
Oh, doubling down the starters. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a ton. And based on that, it goes back to me now, correct? We're still on track here. I'm getting too excited now. Is it crazy for me to not take a starter and just like leave this Infernape on the board here?
You certainly can.
Because honestly, I was gonna try to angle in this draft to either end up with Empoleon or Torterra. So Empoleon wasn't a true snipe, but it was definitely like the starter I would have liked to pick. Since you went with Torterra. And as much as I want Infernape, and as good as Infernape is, like for me, there might be a little bit more value because I could take 3 tier 2s and then a tier 5 for my available resources. And I almost like that a little bit better because otherwise I'm forced into if I took a tier 1, then I would have to take another like a tier 4 and a tier 5 as well and just get these Pokemon that aren't as good. So with that being said, I think I'm done shopping in the S tier as much as I would love to take Infernape or even grab like a Togekiss or a Scizor because I think my team could really use that. So with that being said, I'm just going to take my first free pick, and that's going to be Machamp.
Machamp! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! You picked up the second most muscly Pokemon beside yourself. Holy!
Look, that
Okay.
Machamp is what I aspire to look like one day. I'm nowhere close there right now. I'm looking more like this Clefable at the bottom of tier 2 these
No, no, no,
days.
no, 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 no. Okay. So that drops you down to 320? No,
That drops me a little bit more
280.
than that. Yeah, 280. That drops me down to 280. So I have the ability to take 2 more tier 2s, and then I would have to round it off with a tier 5 as well. So look, you might get your wish. You might get your wish in me getting that Pachirisu. Question now is, what do I want? I'm really happy to pick up a fighting type because I think that's really, really valuable.
Yeah, I mean, you just did pick up a fighting type.
No, I know. I'm saying, like, I'm happy I was able to get
Yeah.
one, especially like one of the better ones.
Oh yeah. For sure,
Also,
for sure.
because I really needed an answer for Candace. I really needed an answer for Candace.
Yeah, that's true.
So for that, like, I want to pick Gliscor because I freaking love Gliscor, but again, like, Candace would be a problem. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take my tried and true here, and I'm gonna grab Spiritomb because that
Spiritomb,
thing's
okay.
because it's a monster. It's so underrated. Having no weaknesses is so good. You can pressure stall stuff down, like you can set up a little bit. You got some tricks. And to survive some of the monstrous Pokemon in this game, particular Cynthia's Garchomp, you got to be able to live a hit. So I'm gonna go Spiritomb and pass it back to you.
All right. Well, we have 3 picks left that we need. We have a free pick with plenty of points, and we have 2 tier 3s that we need to draft. So I am going to make sure that I draft one of my tier 3s right now, and I think the pick is going to be Scyther.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
The reason that I like Scyther is that it means that I don't really have to pick Scizor, and I actually didn't have a true flying type before now, so that kind of helps me out a little bit there. So I think that is going to be my first pick. And then going into my second pick, I still need a second tier 3. I still need a tier 1 or whatever, or another tier 2, whatever I feel is going to be the better fit for me long term. But I think the best way to keep my options as open as possible is to leave my free pick as the last pick.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because you're still filling out the so you have how many points left do you have free wise?
I have 160 points to pick.
Okay, wow.
And I still have a tier 3 pick. So I can either make my tier 3 pick my last pick in the draft, or I can make my free pick the last pick of the draft. So
okay, wait. So wait, did you like undershoot then, like when you were spending? Because shouldn't the 400 like add? Okay, so you went even lower than you needed to. Interesting.
Yeah. So
wow. See, this is why he's a professional. He's thinking he's thinking so far ahead. Like, he's playing chess. I'm playing checkers.
So for me, I actually didn't think that I needed 2 tier 1 Pokemon. I looked at Gyarados and I said, "You are the one for me." I could have, if I maybe would have picked a little differently, I maybe could have said, okay, I don't need to pick a second tier 4. I could pick an extra tier 1 potentially out of it, but I didn't want to be stuck with a tier 5. That was really my biggest thing. And so I was okay not having a little bit less points to be able to kind of do that. So
sure.
So I think for me, to get the best pick, I think tier 3 is the way to go, because that gives me kind of the most amount of flexibility with my last pick. I already have a ghost type. I already have a fighting type. I already have fire. But I don't have the defensive stalwarts that your team currently possesses. And so I think I'm going to take a nice Porygon 2.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, you're getting the trick room ready. Oh, he's getting the trick room ready. I'm afraid.
So,
oh no.
I did really think about Bronzong. I did.
Yeah.
But I don't like how passive Bronzong can be sometimes. And Porygon can be that as well. But the move pool is a little bit wider to be a little bit more diverse and still have some offensive pressure a little bit,
Sure.
but I get to keep my Trick Room option. Now, my teams are much faster in this one. So Trick Room might not be the total play, but it might still be an option, depending on how things go. So, but yeah, that is my pick. And then you have your final 2 picks, and then I get the last pick in the draft.
Yes, you do. My last 2 picks, it has to be a tier 2 and a tier 5 for me.
You, yeah, you would
Because
have to at
I'm at
least pick.
160.
Yeah,
Or I could undershoot, but like
you
there's
could
no
undershoot.
reason.
Yeah.
There's no reason to undershoot. Like I mean, I could. You really want me to take this Graveler and then pair it with this Pachirisu just for you? You know, I'm gonna do that. I guess I could
Yeah.
take a tier 3 and a tier 4 as
You
well.
can take tier
if
3
I'm
and
being
tier 4.
honest.
You can take tier 1 or take tier 2 and tier 5. So it's whatever one you
Yeah.
kind of think you like better.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be kind of malpractice though. The one thing I still do not have is a Pokemon that is off the ground.
Yeah.
And part of me really likes Bronzong for that reason. Also being able to like potentially run Heat Proof as well, as
Yep.
Levitate. And I recognize that I'm probably gonna have a tough time with Candace, and we're just gonna have to figure something out. But I think I'm gonna take Crobat
Crobat. Okay.
as like my last. At least give me something off the ground, give some type of offensive pressure.
Crobat's so good.
And look, you and I both love Crobat because
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's an amazing Pokemon, and just having that level of speed, being able to like U-turn around, put yourself in a better position, I think is going to be really really helpful for me certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Even though right now like Ice types body my team more or less. So like I said, Candace is going to be scary. So that means I'm going down to tier 5 to go ahead and end things off. I really wanted to take Lucario just to use it against you. But
See, I have left it open for myself if I really want it.
If you really want it, yeah. So, and that might have been the smarter move, actually. But with this last selection, also I realize I just need a flyer because
Yeah.
not having fly is a pain.
Right? Yeah.
And I don't know if Chatot learns fly, so I wasn't about to like just go ahead and let that be the thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna commit to the bit. I'm gonna commit to the meme, and if look, the Mamoswine is scary, but I got a Candace answer, and it's gonna be Sudowoodo. We're bringing in Sudowoodo.
Honestly, Sudowoodo is like the highest attack stat in that entire tier. So honestly, like it is not that far fetched of a pick.
You cannot underestimate this Pokemon, man. It has great defense. It's got great attack. People do not realize that. Like, obviously, competitively, you can get Sucker Punch on there. Like, you can do some really, really funny things with this Pokemon. And at least it gives me a slightly better answer to Candace down the line where my team struggles. Plus, I just thought it'd be funny to take here.
No,
but
I mean,
yeah, that attack stat is going to be really, really helpful, to be honest.
It is this region's Wobbuffet, so I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
All right, so with the last pick in the draft, I'm gonna go tier 2. There's no reason to pick a less strong Pokemon. And there's limited options left. Bronzong was actually something I was still considering. So you kind of
it's a great Pokemon.
Yeah, it was something I was still considering, but I don't like how like doesn't really have great offensive pressure and doesn't really have a great move pool to it.
Yeah.
Which kind of did deter me a little bit from it. There is the option that I could go with some heat. I could go with Lucario and you know, mix attacker, you know, get the Swords Dance Aura Sphere going. You know, Swords Dance Nasty Plot going, sorry. And then really be a real mixed threat. But I already have a decent fighting type in Toxicroak.
For sure.
So I don't think that I need that per se. But what I do need is a Psychic type.
Ah, okay.
And so I think we have to go with one of the OG best psychic types in the entire game and go with Gardevoir.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
I
I
think
like
Gardevoir
it
is
a
the pick.
lot.
It was between that or Bronzong. I thought about other things, but I think Mamoswine's a little redundant with Torterra.
Right.
I don't really love ice types, and especially a dark ice type like Weavile. Like that's just feels like a really frail Pokemon. But yeah, so I think it was really kind of down to guard a Lucario with like Psychic, for example, on the move set, or like just use a Gardevoir, get the stab, and
Sure.
still have kind of a cool move pool. So I think that Gardevoir is my pick. And that is gonna wrap up this draft. Let us
Hell
know
yeah.
in the comment section down below who you think drafted better. What would you have drafted with the Pokemon that were available? If you could. And yeah, I think we're gonna get up out of here. And then we are gonna gen the Pokemon into the team. Basically everything is gonna be set to level 1. We are gonna have rare candies available to us, but and then trade evolutions if either one of us have any. I don't think we actually do. I don't think either one of us
I've got
do.
Machamp. I've got
You got
Machamp, but
Machamp.
that's it.
So
That's the only one we have.
the way
I
that
think.
that's gonna work is that we're gonna gen in a Machamp at level 37. That Socks will just switch out with his Machoke when it hits level 37. That's how we're gonna do that. So the IVs are gonna be randomized, the natures are gonna be randomized, but we are gonna choose the abilities that we choose for these Pokemon. So but yeah, that is today's stream, today's draft. If you guys are hyped for it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you go subscribe over to Anisocks channel because he's got amazing stuff going on over there. And he is on the way to 1,000 subs.
Woo!
So he is really, really close. He might even pass by the time this series even goes live. So I mean, but honestly,
we can only hope. We can only hope.
no, you'll be there. You'll be there. But yeah, we're gonna get up out of here. So thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you guys in the next one.